Kill all Immortals 2, Viking Blood Feud, Karmic Recap. The number 2 is featured in black and light green. The scene transports us back to Vasavangen, Norway in 1011 AD. Flames lick at the edges of a village, casting an ominous glow. A group of figures stands amidst the chaos, their faces grim. A man lies prone on a stump, and a woman tells him to go on, girl, return the favor of his words. Some woman asks, can we not show these folk our mercy? But the man responds, this girl will not fight for us, will not kill for us. Are you even a Viking? Then a bearded Thor raises a mighty axe, his eyes filled with determination. He declares, do what Frey cannot. The scene cuts to a high-speed car chase, a black vehicle careening down a dark road. Branches smash against the windshield as a man yells, hold on. Inside the car, he asks, will they come after us? The woman driving replies, any second now. He responds, but there's an airfield nearby. The woman asks with blood dripping down her face, how? What are you, Frey? Aliens, witches, vampires? Frey responds with a smile, we don't drink blood, Owen. She pauses, then adds, not all the time. The car speeds down a dark road, the headlights cutting through the night. Frey says, you know the story. It was just about you, not your family. Owen asks, you don't trust me? We don't trust anyone, she replies, her voice firm. We live in the shadows, she continues. We kill who we must kill, and when it all gets too close we disappear, the name changes and we resurface. Frey appears deep in thought, murmuring a list of names. Eric Leifson, Eric Thorvaldsen, Eric the Red. Owen interrupts, his gaze intense. Frey, why'd you save me? Sordin, Frey says. The car screeches to a halt as they reach the airfield, surrounded by armed soldiers. Frey says with worry, trouble, we were told dead or alive. The soldiers yell, so come out with your hands up or we'll shoot. Owen turns, a mix of fear and resignation in his eyes. Go back. Frey's eyes blaze with determination. Can't go back, my family is back. Owen protests. You can't, but Frey cuts him off, her voice hardening. Fight them all. It's been a couple of centuries since I've done this, but how rusty can I be? Frey bursts from the car, a whirlwind of motion as she charges towards the soldiers. Her hand flashes, drawing a sword as she moves. The air crackles with the sound of weapons clashing, steel meeting steel in a deadly dance. In moments, soldiers fall, their bodies hitting the ground with sickening thuds. Frey, a blur of silver hair and lethal grace, stands amidst the carnage, her expression grim. The battle rages on, a symphony of violence. A soldier screams as Frey continues to slash and kick. Bullets fly, the air thick with the smell of gunpowder. The crack of gunfire blends with the whoosh of the sword. Frey, in a flash, takes a gun from the hands of a fallen soldier, shooting another on the ground, and more soldiers start shooting at her from different directions. Her movements are a blur, each strike precise and deadly. The scene shifts, and the girl in Norway in 1011 AD is facing a snarling brute, her sword poised, ready to strike the killing blow. The fighting intensifies as Frey dodges bullets, her body a canvas of blood and determination. A soldier manages to grab her and she struggles with him. The scene shifts, and she bites another soldier's hand. In one fluid motion, she snaps another soldier's wrist with a sickening crack. A new soldier appears and yells, don't move, but her friend has been shot by another soldier. He is struggling to stay alive. The soldier shoots, causing the driver to swerve the car, causing a crash. The car skids to a halt, overturned. Frey and Owen stand amidst the carnage, surrounded by the bodies of their attackers. Owen asks, Frey, you okay? Yes, she replies, the word carrying a mix of exhaustion and satisfaction. Then she adds, hit by car is better than shot in head. Owen says, with a hint of awe in his voice, I guess you're not that rusty. A private jet sits on the runway in the background. Frey is on the plane with the pilot, holding a gun to his head. They'll kill me for helping you, says the pilot. Frey responds, I'll kill you now if you don't. Frey walks down the plane and says to Owen, okay, I convinced him. Owen asks, you're already healed. Frey says, what happens if you lose an arm or a head? Then she checks her side and says, like a starfish, grows right back, but bad wounds take time. Owen's phone starts ringing and he says, what is it now? It is Frey's father, Dad, calling. Owen snaps the phone in half, then asks, will they stop? Frey responds, not until I'm scolded and you're dead, but we'll disappear and pray they don't find us. Owen replies, for how long? I can't just disappear. We should go to the authorities. You don't understand. They control everything. Police, politicians, criminals. Owen is quiet for a moment, then he says, your father is a businessman. We just need leverage, something he cares deeply about. Frey says, he has everything and there's nothing he can't replace. He cares about his immortality. Owen looks deep into her eyes and asks, Frey, how did you become immortal? Frey sighs, have you heard of Idun, Viking goddess of rejuvenation, a keeper of the fruit of immortality? The legends say that Loki kidnapped her and stole her away to Jotunheim. But really it was us. We found her in the ice of northern Greenland. She had fallen from the sky, but she was alive. Frey pauses, a distant look in her eyes. It was so long ago. I don't remember the rest. My father kept it from me, and I never knew where she was or how it worked. I just knew we took her, and now we cannot die, Owen says. Then we find her. Frey interrupts. I already overstepped my bounds protecting you. Frey says, this ruthless fighting spirit, I don't have it in me. I cannot go against my family, not like that. Owen then takes Frey's hand and says, we do it right, we won't have to. The jet taxis down the runway. Owen says, we'll be quick and quiet. Frey responds, fly into Bergen and drive to Oslo. Then Frey and Owen are at a market buying clothes, and Owen says, we'll need some new clothing and everything has to be cash off the grid. The plane will be tracked, so they need to start looking. Next they get a car and Owen says, and what's in Oslo? Frey responds, one of our homes and the family library where my father keeps old records and things from the past. Finally, Owen asks, what are we looking for? Frey says, my father keeps everything. If we want to find Idun, we'll need his sailing logs. As they drive up to a modern house, Owen asks, I'm guessing that's the secret library. Frey says, it is. As they walk up to a much older house with overgrowth and rotting planks, Frey says, after you. The old house opens to reveal a vast, hidden library filled with artifacts. Owen says, whoa. Frey, this is. Frey finishes his sentence, I know. Statues stand guard, and displays of weapons are along the walls. Frey says, these are signed by King John of England, as she walks past a table with a golden bust on it. Owen replies, Dead Sea Scrolls are around here somewhere. Frey starts looking at all the old records and replies, but what we want, this is it, Nuke Records 1003. Never forget the date. Owen and Frey look through the library. There is a boat encased in glass in the library from a millennia of plunder. Owen says, you hear something? Frey responds, stay here. Then she walks up to two axes that are crossed and displayed on the wall. Frey takes the axes and goes into the house. A voice says, hello, Frey. Frey responds with a snarl, hi, Thorvald. Thorvald says, sorry, Frey, I gotta bring you back and I gotta kill the journalist. How'd you find us? Frey then smiles and says, we each took a Nordic house, lucky you this time. He says, no. And Frey replies, I'm not looking forward to it. Thorvald walks towards Frey. She looks worried and says, maybe we weren't here. Maybe you just let your big sister go this time. Then Thorvald retorts, sorry, I already called it in. Frey is desperate and asks, maybe he was here alone. You think I'll let you do that? All of a sudden, Thorvald chokes Frey and says, you know I'm gonna do it anyway, Frey. Frey brings the axe up and brings it down and into Thorvald's skull. One of Thorvald's allies shows up and says, ah. Frey says, not strong enough, Frey, not against me. Another ally says, then maybe you'll show me compassion. Frey falls through the floor as Thorvald's ally screams, I crush compassion. Frey struggles and fights against the oncoming enemy and remembers a previous conversation. She continues to fight. Frey remembers that her father says, I dream to know peace, to meet man not as foe, to not have blood baked in my skin. Frey retorts, you could, brother. Frey remembers again that her father says, a Viking protects their clan with the force of mountains. Frey asks, what about me? Does a Viking break their family for power? Frey is frustrated and asks, will you refuse to show your kin mercy? Frey continues to scream NOO. The struggle continues as Frey fights the opposing Vikings. They stab at each other and end up crashing through a window. In the aftermath, Frey is thrown through the glass and into a body of water. The enemy Viking plunges down into the water as Frey screams in the background. Owen says, Frey, and is quickly after her, crashing through the same window. Frey is sinking further and further down into the water, which is now being stained red by her blood. Owen is looking through the red-tinged water for a sign of Frey. The scene is chaos, blood, and fire. Frey is underwater with her face towards the sun. Then Owen's face appears looking into the water. He is covered in blood. Frey is standing in the water and covered in blood next to a floating Thorvald. She has a tear streaming down her face and says, "There's no going back now. My family and I are at war." Thanks for tuning in. Stay curious, stay awesome, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more amazing content.